And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Adapt 2030 channel. The full blueprint, how this is going to unfold over the next couple of years. 1875, good times, bad times. They already mapped it out for you. $12.99 cauliflower could be an indicator. Shelf life after best before dates for you. Cities with the best local health care. Copper stockpiles diminishing. How are we ever going to lay fields of sun harvesting gear? The realization that the sudden snap and wake up for humanity is upon us. Things aren't going to work as they planned, so down the ship goes. And I wanted to start you off with a joke here. This pepper is way too small. Can you please put a little blanket or tiny sweater on him? Because he's a little chilly. Ha ha ha, you got it. Got to start happy because almost $13 New Zealand cauliflower. Don't know how many people are paying for that. Grow your own. Anti-theft on the lure pack, butters and cream cheese. That doesn't bode well for society either. But since we're talking about food, let's look at the shelf life. You know, you get those dates on there. It says best before date. Well, that has the most freshness and the most taste and the most flavor. You know, up to that point, it's the best. And every day, month, year after that, it'll get, less tasty. So the best before date, if you look at that, 2 to 3 years for canned goods. Spaghetti sauce is 18 months, pretty acidic there. Cereals up to 1 year. Dry pastas, coffee up to a couple years. Popcorn, you can take a look yourself. Over 100 different items. Biancamore.com has the whole list right there for you. Speaking of lists, here's a goodie. China food inflation just 2.6%. Whereas Lebanon, 261%. That's 100x. Interesting. Venezuela. Argentina, well over 100. See, it crept up above 100 last month, and now it's at 103. And the list does go on and on. Sri Lanka coming in at 48%. They started to bring in some chemical fertilizer again, and suddenly their food prices dropped. Imagine that. I like the others, though. When we get into Pakistan, Nigeria, United States, 9.5%. I don't believe it. I saw something with Germany over 20%. 9.5 might be the official figures, but I'm thinking it's a little bit higher, 18, 20%-ish, just saying. But the playbook has been broadcast. Here it's kind of unfold with the spider webbing intact. So the different colors have a different category of. So green would be environmental damage, blue would be supply chain collapse, orange would be geopolitical, and you get the idea. Red, social cohesion. So these are going to all unwind at the same time, but because the interconnectivity of them, you can trace down the unwind, and thank you, WEF, for putting the global risks. You gave us the blueprint, the plan. Here it is. You just have to decipher it. I encourage you to screen grab this and then work it out. The larger the circle, the larger the influence or high risk. The 2023 financial crisis has begun. According to Bloomberg, the missing catalyst is here, with gold now forecast to surpass $3,000 an ounce as a worst-case scenario. The economic hurricane J.B. Diamond warned of is here. Call the proud Americans at the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Remember, Patriot Gold Group offers the no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver on qualifying rollovers. Call 888-546-7020 to get your free investor guide today. Keep in mind, Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 6 years in a row. That's 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. So for me, when I widen it out, I'm looking at news headlines of the future and also things that have been broadcast that will occur in the future. Cybersecurity being one of those, actually cyber insecurity. But then when we see WMDs being used, okay, we'll know in really quick fashion, will it be the small dots culminating with the big? Because it does seem like there's a lot of play going on here. And way out over to the right, the natural resource crisis. But if we bring that into focus, I like how they did indicate biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse. That is corporate 500 doing that, not me and you. The marketing that drove you to buy a product is responsible for that. But look how all those interconnect into less natural resources, higher cost of living, less natural resources, supply chain lockups, and systemic collapse, which would also taper over into geopolitical. So you see how these are so clear the way that they're wrapped together. So now you just need to unbox it. Although they're just trying to say it's a Band-Aid for the world's future, 18 different points to look at. And I think we're all going to come to different conclusions on that spider web of interconnectivity. Leave your comment in the description box. I would love to discuss that with you and see where you think this is going. That is a full roadmap of what is about to happen in this next year to two. Now coming back to the natural resources, what's going on with the supply chain lockups and geopolitics comes back into food. It's all about the food. If you can't supply the food, then everything else in tandem goes up with it. Now we're looking at a ditching of the dollar, increased oil prices, and non-accessibility to some markets as liquid and accessible as they were before. So now we're starting to see all these dovetail in tandem. So the big wild card is going to be when the dollar loses or continues to lose reserve status, and there's going to be that rollover point. It won't reach anywhere close to 100% non-usage of the dollar before hyperinflationary events or extreme hyperinflation comes back to the States. 20x on your normal items, 15x. We're going to be far away from 100% before that happens. Would it be 80% of the world ditches the dollar? They'll leave us 20% left. I think it's going to be closer, somewhere around 30% of all nations stop using it, and that snowball continues, and then the word will be on the street, and people will just start cashing in at that point. Then we're going to have some real problems here. But again, it rolls back into natural causes, and please look out for the ozone depletion event beginning in mid-July, early August here, Southern Hemisphere, because of the Hunga Tonga eruption and the mesospheric ice crystal breakdown of ozone. I did an entire video series on that. That is beginning in just a few months. So food prices shall increase from there, and they can trace it back. Now, where these individual events occur in which country, you have to look for the food hotspot maps or the geopolitical unrest hotspot maps. And somewhere there's going to be layering inside here that will show itself as a clear blueprint with a clear roadmap. I just wish the dates were plugged in. Now, speaking of demand bottlenecks here, volume of copper bringing us out to 2050. The demand, now think about it, 700 million tons in all humanity have been mined over the course of the last, let's say, 8,000 years. Well, we would have to double that in the next 25, 27 years here to be able to roll out everything that is planned for the transition to renewables. Global copper stockpiles will deplete by August if the trend continues, according to Goldman Sachs. Current demand takes us out possibly to December 31st, somewhere in the middle of July. It's interesting how it overlaps with the ozone depletion event in the Southern Hemisphere. So strawberry fields of solar panels forever will not be forthcoming. This is such an improvement over the farmland. I can't even believe it. I don't know why we didn't think of this first. And that desert that's regenerating itself with species of plants, who needs those? Look at the beauty of this. So symmetrical. And the way it reflects sunlight, the insects and birds flying around, they just love the extra illumination, just like going to the beach for them. That forest should not even be there. It's kicking out too much CO2. I can't believe it. We got to reduce the forest. But this is a good idea here. Water surface. I'm wondering how much that will heat the water around there. That's just a simple question. It seems like we're blind to many events taking place, including this shiny, which will hold value during the collapse. Because what is reality? Would you believe this if you saw it happen? Or is that CGI? Or is that blue beam? Looks real enough to me. But what is real? What is reality? Cities with the best healthcare, I guess, way outside the scope of U.S. Although Cleveland, of all places, Cleveland, Ohio, well, they got the Cleveland Clinic up there. Baltimore as well in the States. But if you look at that, Taipei, Kaohsiung, that's in Taiwan. Chiang Mai over in Thailand at the very high echelons. People used to do dental vacations there where they could go have everything done that would cost $30,000, $40,000 here for a couple $1,000s and get a private nurse while they're healthing back and eating fresh foods. And you can go down through the list here and find your own country, Minneapolis here for the States as well. But the reality was the best healthcare system in the world. Isn't that what we've always been taught? Freest nation on the planet, really. So the perception is the perception. What society agrees on manifests. And it seems unanimously across the financial news, a recession in 2023 is now inevitable. Okay, I guess you need to pick a different profession. But the goodie from 1875, periods when to make money. Now, this is not financial advice. This is just a ramblings. Nearly 150 years ago, Samuel Benner put this one together. Good years, bad years. So according to this chart, if we're at 2023 where things are crashing right on time, we need to sell off everything in 2026. Now, what's also interesting, if you go back, you see the financial crisis. Should have sold everything at 2007. Had you done that, you'd have ridden down that slope and been able to pick everything up in 2012, sold it off in 2019. Again, 2019, picking that date at the market highs is interesting. The 1999 market highs before the crash as well. Again, if you would have sold the market high in 1927, exited everything in 1926, hysteria, 1927, you would have been out during the crash and could have swooped things back up in 1935. The war comes in 1942, which is interesting. Again, how did they peg a world war within this? And on the upswing after the war, of course, everything's going to go back to stabilizing. I'll let you figure that one out. But every time I see this shiny gold medal, it really makes me think about the store values, which, according to this chart, follows every single analyst that's going on across the scape at the moment. 2023 seems to be it. I hope you have enough seeds to grow your own food. If you say, David, I can't afford the silver. I only have like $100. I only have $250. I can only get a few ounces of silver. You should see the premiums now. Difficult to get silver under $30 or $31 an ounce. American Eagles, you're looking at $45. That's ridiculous. The overspot, $25. That's a $25 premium on American Eagles. Not financial advice, but just common sense. If you have seed packs, which you can buy more cheaply, get the bulk seed packs that cover everything for an entire garden. Imagine how much money you could save learning how to grow your own food. And also it's a skill that you can learn to bring others, to trade with others. And that combination of trading and helping on each other's gardens also will be paid in food. But something significant is underway here. And from the beginning of 2020, that was the clear messaging. The world is changing. 2021, it was so clear it had changed. 2022 is, you're living in a new world. The old one's gone. And now, we need to reset it a little further to get it into the next phase, which winds us all the way back to that interconnectivity of economy, politics, food, natural resources. True Leaf Market, heirloom and organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet. That link's in the description box below, along with tonight's stories, images, graphics, so you can do your own research. And please join us Thursday night, 10 p.m. to midnight. Revolution Radio, we stream across all of these different links, libertylinks.io/solar minimum. I do thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.